A kí yín káàbọ̀ sí orí ìkànnì yìí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí gbogbo ibi tẹ́ ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa káàkiri orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáńlá ayé. Ní sí wa náà ni. Lónìí, a ó tún tú pẹ́rẹpẹ́rẹ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó tún jà rìnrìn nígboro ní gbogbo ìgbà. Láti rí nǹkan kan tó ń jà nígboro, òun la máa mú wá. Lónìí, a ní díra wa lọ́wọ́ torí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ gbádùn ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tí a fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ gbọ́ lónìí. So a ní fẹ́ kí irú ètò ṣẹlẹ̀ lánàá yẹn kó tó ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́ lónìí. So lónìí tá a fẹ́ gbéyẹ̀wò lónìí tí ìjọ Igbokwe sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho pé Sunday Igboho is a terrorist. Ọ̀rọ̀ ńlá ni o. Ọ̀rọ̀ ńlá ni o. Ṣé Yorùbá bọ̀ wọ́n ní egbèrè ọ̀tẹ̀ bá a ṣe ń pàkan nìkan rú. Ọ̀rọ̀ ńlá ni. So mi ní gbà wá lákòókò. Mo fẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ lọ gbọ́ fọ́nrán yẹn náà. Tá a bá padà dé, a ẹ̀sẹ̀ wá sọ nǹkan tí.
Yes, if you look at the screenshot message posts at the center, just right below here, was a post by Joe Igbokwe.
Olówó lójú screen ẹ ti rí mẹ́sẹ̀gì ẹ lójú screen. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ farabalẹ̀ gbọ́ mi ní interrupt yín lónìí.
In the same light as talking about banditry and terrorism in the regions. And he made it sound as if Igboho wanted to start terrorism in the southwest. But Yoruba people quickly nipped it in the bud, stopped him. And I'm like, no, I think that was a wrong analysis. Now let's look at it together. Take myself off the screen right now.
At the screen here.
The post reads, northeast, northwest, north central, southeast, south are the most troublesome and the most dangerous zones in the country. It then came back with the last paragraph. It said, southwest stands out. Meaning that southwest is relatively, in fact, better in terms of peace. It then said, Sunday Igboho wanted to cause trouble. But the Yoruba nation shut him down. This is civilization. Now, that is his own opinion. Now, let me come back to what we were talking about. I disagree with... let me quickly introduce him first. Joe Igbokwe, who made that post, is an APC chieftain. I think presently is commissioner for, is it gutter or drainage in Lagos or something like that? He's a long-standing chief of the APC. Igboho is somebody who rose out of necessity. At the time, there was rampant forest invasion, farm invasion, including kidnapping of people in the southwest recently, prior or leading to the last election, where southwest was going to become also terror-ridden. After so much outcry by people in the southwest region, calling for security agencies and the government to rescue them and save them, and there was no response.
Nobody.
In fact, the minimal response there was, you will see situations where soldiers were flogging people who tried to stop herdsmen or the Fulani extract, bringing cows to come and graze on their farmland. And then people decided to react. They called on government, they called on military, they called on soldier, they called on police. And the few times that the soldiers came, they will even torture the farm owners and say, allow the cows to graze on your farmland. Like people contrived efforts to make farm, spend money, sweat and all that. And somebody will just be grazing cow and just pour them into all the farm. When you are near harvest and they just destroy your farmland using it to feed their cows. and then you want them to fold their arms and be watching. And that didn't stop there. They were even, whoever tried to stop them from entering their own farm, they kidnapped some, tortured some, killed some, raped some women. And then because the government refused to protect lives and properties despite this outcry, Sunday Igboho, a non-state actor, decided to take it upon himself to say, no, we must defend ourselves and protect our land. He rose to the occasion when government failed. So I refuse to agree with Mr. Joe Igbokwe on this one, that Sunday Igboho wanted to cause trouble. No, I disagree completely. I do not agree with that. Let me take it further. I understand the position, two positions that informed Mr. Joe Igbokwe's position, opinion by making that post. First, let me refresh your mind in case you have forgotten or maybe you didn't hear before. Sometime about 4 years ago, this is Joe Igbokwe and his house in Inewi. IPOB elements, as he accused then, bought his house in Inewi.
The same
most of these brothers are unable to go home again. You understand? That's why some of them are angry with Nnamdi Kanu. They said he was militarizing the whole place, and they were killing people under the name of they were looking for Biafra and all that. You understand that? Those ones also said they were trying to protect their place from
invasion.
The herdsmen invading their places. How they then started burning their own people's houses and also abducting their own people or killing them, I don't know. So I sympathize with Joe Igbokwe. Mr. Joe Igbokwe, I sympathize with you that they burnt your IPOB elements as you are accused, burnt your house, okay, and destroyed lots of things at the time. I sympathize with you. But this is it. You can't say the same thing of Igboho. And where Igboho went wrong, by my own analysis, I'll say it.
Okay.
But trying to protect and secure the Southwest, I disagree completely. I disagree that Igboho tries to cause trouble in the Southwest. No. Instead, it was doing the opposite of it. Was trying to protect when government failed to do it. He rose to the occasion. For that, I must commend him. However, the only place I agree with Igboho at the time, and I'll repeat it again because I said it at that time, many people who didn't understand, who didn't have the benefit of deep thoughts and information or privileged information on our side, didn't get it. And I'll repeat it here again. While he was doing that, had support of many Yorubas. Many. He had support. Many people supported him. Until he then said, Yoruba nation, now. He wanted to use that avenue to then, do you call it transmogrification? To then use it to start saying, no, we must use this avenue to achieve our Yoruba nation. Nah. Like, at this point,
ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà ló wá mú ṣẹlẹ̀ wá ìgbà tí Yorùbá ti fara àwọn èèyàn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ náà
ni Buhari, not because of any other person. But because even his own Yoruba people have already invested a lot. They wanted to be president of Nigeria after Buhari. And aside the politically, invested ones, there are also many Yorubas who are in doubt. There are three categories of Yoruba. The ones that are politically grounded, who are happy to be in power or included in power equations. One. Two, the ones who are afraid of what the change will bring because they don't know what you are trying to do.
Like those
ones who have served all their years, who have worked all their years, and it looks like they are able to manage to set something simple up. And you just want to come and erode everything and say, it was like Igboho was giving an ultimatum to people. Say, I'll learn Yoruba say, election. It was like an ultimatum, like there will be no election here. Yoruba nation will come before election. And the election was just a few months away. And a lot of Yoruba were afraid and scared. The third category are the hungry ones. Hungry ones. In fact, if you like, let the country not be okay. As far as they can eat food, there's food. They don't mind. That is the third category of people in Nigeria. And they are across regions. It's not only Yoruba, they are across regions. These ones, they are like, Kila Amoje. Ngabagba Yoruba nation. Asira ata láti north. Wọ́n sì ń kálùbọ́sà wa látàn àti ìmọ̀gbìn fúnra wa àti ìní tó wá jẹ ń bí àti ìní ìrẹsì tó wá jẹ ní àyè àti ìní oríṣiríṣi tá a mọ̀ jẹ àti ìrìjẹ tó ẹtún ní àwọn tẹ́tà àgbàgbà yìí ṣé gbogbo rẹ̀ wá ní wọn. It was just a matter of fear of the unknown. What will accompany this thing? Kí ló máa tẹ̀lé? If we start Yoruba nation now, and we get it now, it means currency will change. I mean, I still have small change that I managed to save all my years. That is just around 200,000 naira. Some of them have never had that kind of money in their life, and it was the first time they had it. Somebody is in the university, and he wants the name of the university to still read the University of Lagos because he knew what he sweat to went to that university. There are so many investors who have done a lot of things, and they are like, come on, like people wanted to prepare themselves first before any surprise. They don't want to. Nigerians don't want to be caught by any surprise.
Unaware.
They don't want to be caught by any surprise.
Unaware.
It was why many Yorubas immediately started to say there is another agenda behind this Igboho movement. If it were purely first on security of the Southwest, everybody was ready to support. But the sudden Yoruba nation agitation, say well no, so Nigeria to we know Nigeria is not good, we know things are bad. But we are still coping. Or somebody just want to wake up overnight and say, oh yeah, your currency changes, everything changes, and where do we start from? Like many people don't want to be taken by surprises. They don't want to wake up and see that regime has changed, this has changed, that has changed. What they prepared for last night is another story today, this and that. It just looks like the story of the case of demon. What should I pick? What can I even manage to pick before the whole thing? You know, Nigerians don't want to be taken by because shock. The truth of such sudden changes or sudden thoughts is what they cannot cope. That was the only thing Igboho. If I would have, you know, like I said before, during that time, before I got attacked and I decided not to comment on it again, I would have, if focused on that southern security, maybe for the first 6 months, 1 year.
Orientation yẹn náà ni orientation yẹn kò tó dáadáa ọ náà lè jẹ́ kọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀
not
be abuse opportunity orientation yẹn kò tó.
Region, and you are sure that everywhere is already covered, such that one morning when you wake up and say, oh, yeah, this is our direction, you have soldiers in thousands already.
More
people who are just on social media and commenting, no. Because it got to a point where locals were afraid. Most of the Yorubas who were keenly in and ready, not all Yorubas were ready for the Yoruba nation at the time. Most of those who were ready were based or resident abroad. So those who are residing locally are like, Ogbeni. And what on support, the people sponsoring this thing They are abroad though.
If
anything happens now, they fly back. They visa, they have everything ready. They live abroad. They are included. If anything happens, they know how to come and take over the changes and all that. But if war starts now, where do you run to? Those abroad will be abroad and be encouraging you to say, suffer, don't worry, endure. But those who are local, who reside, only have one Paco house. You just throw one Esheno into your house and bam, the whole place is gone. Where will you sleep? Where will you live? What will you eat? So the local residents were afraid of war and the spoils of it. It was only those who were based abroad that were ready for whatever. That's now why. That's exactly why. If not, Igboho did something very credibly notable and noble. Credible and noble. Let me put it that way. Or credibly noble. How you like your English?
Okay, ẹ jẹ́ kí n dá dúró ń bẹ̀ yẹn náà. Ẹ ṣe ṣé ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tí a gbọ́ yẹn? Ẹ rí pọ́rọ̀ ńlá ni, ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní agbára ni. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tí ò yé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ni pé Sunday Igboho ẹ̀tọ́ gbogbo wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè Yorùbá ló ń jà fún. Ṣé gbọ́ nǹkan tí arákùnrin yẹn sọ? Wípé ó try, ó gbìyànjú. Ìgbà tí wọ́n pe sójà pé kí sójà wá gba àwọn èèyàn lẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tó yọjú o. Sunday Igboho nìkan ló yọjú. Níbo ni gbogbo àwọn Ìbà Gani Adams àtàwọn OPC, níbo ni gbogbo wọn wà? Sunday Igboho nìkan ló yọjú. Ó wá ń sọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀, ó ní mistake tó kàn wá ń bẹ̀ ni wípé kò yẹ kí wọ́n ti declare Odùduwà nation pé it's too fast. Pé ìyẹn ni mistake tó wà ń bẹ̀. Pé kò yẹ kán ti declare rẹ̀. Pé tó bá yẹ pé bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe yẹn, wọ́n ṣe fún bí 6 months. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó tún jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn awareness yẹn á ti wà everywhere, á ti circulate. Láti àwọn tó wà l'Ogun state, awareness á wà. Àwọn tó wà l'Ọ̀yọ́ state, àwọn tó wà l'Ọ̀ṣun state, àwọn tó wà ní Kwara, àwọn tó wà ní Kogi, àwọn tó wà ní Lagos state. Awareness á ti wà. Tá awareness yẹn bá ti wà, àsìkò tó wọ́n máa declare Odùduwà nation báyìí kò ní sí problem. Ẹ gbọ́nu analysis yẹn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn lẹ̀rù ń bà pé tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ tán, àwọn aráàlú òyìnbó á jápa. Torí wọ́n ní visa, wọ́n ní passport. Mo sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn tó ń sáré káàkiri bí ò ní visa, wọn ò ní passport. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ náà wò pé ètò àsì ń jẹ yìí sì dáa náà ju pé ká tó wá gbé áńgẹ́lì èṣù tá a ti mọ̀ lọ́jọ́ pípẹ́ ni ó dáa ju áńgẹ́lì tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń bọ̀ lọ. Ìdí nìyẹn tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn náà tí ò fi fẹ́ fara mọ́ nígbà tí Sunday Igboho bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n tí wàá ń yé gbogbo wa ń sìn o. Kẹ́tí pé ó ti ń yé gbogbo wa ń sìn pé àkókò tá a ní láti fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ kí awareness gangan kó tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ dáadáa ju tàtẹ̀yìnwá lọ lélẹ̀. Kí awareness yẹn kó tún jinlẹ̀ sí. Now lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tí Igbokwe sọ, ó ní Sunday Igboho pé terrorist ni. Ó nítorí wípé nǹkan tí àwọn Nnamdi Kanu ń ṣe ní East tó ń dà lúrú, tí àwọn Boko Haram ń ṣe, ó fi Nnamdi Kanu wé Boko Haram, ó fi Sunday Igboho wé Boko Haram, ó fi wọ́n wé terrorist. Ẹ gbọ́ ṣé lóòótọ́ ni? Ẹ bá fẹ́ ròyìn tí yín sí comment section. Mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ subscribe, kẹ́ tó bá wa share program yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ fà kó kan àwọn ènìyàn tó yẹ kó kàn lára, ká lè mọ̀ pé Sunday Igboho kì í ṣe terrorist. Ẹ̀tọ́ ló ń jà fún. Ẹ̀tọ́ ni, kò ń ṣe terrorist rárá. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tí ò bá ti yé àwọn ènìyàn, ṣẹ́rí àwọn èèyàn ní tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pé tó bá ti rí nǹkan díẹ̀díẹ̀ jẹ, tó ti ń jẹ nínú àwọn ìwà burúkú, wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé bámúbámú la yó, èmi ò mọ̀ pé bí ń pọmọ ẹnì kankan. Tó bá ti ń jẹ báyìí, mo fẹ́ kọ́mọ ẹlòmíì ò jẹ mọ́. Ló mú kí irú yẹn máa sọ̀rọ̀ pé Sunday Igboho is a terrorist. Èèyàn tó lè fi ìyàwó, ọmọ àti ilé ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ tó wọnú igbó lọ, tó lọ ń lé Fúlàní, ẹ gbọ́. Ṣérú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló yẹ kán pè ní terrorist? Ṣérú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló yẹ kán pè ní terrorist? Ẹ fèrò tí yín sí comment section. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa share ẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí program yẹn lọ fà. Ẹ bá wa share ẹ̀. Ẹ bá wa share ẹ̀. ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ tẹ like button, ẹ jẹ́ kí program yẹn máa lọ fà kí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn mọ̀ pé olóyè Sunday Igboho kì í ṣe terrorist o. Ẹ̀tọ́ gbogbo wa nílẹ̀ Odùduwà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá òun ló ń jà fún. Ẹ̀tọ́ wa ló ń jà fún, kò kí ń ṣe terrorist. Ẹ jẹ́ bá wa share program yìí, ẹ like ẹ subscribe sórí ìkànnì yìí fún ọ̀tun àti àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ míì tá ò tún máa gbé wá tájọ máa ṣàgbéyẹ̀wò rẹ̀, ìjíròrò rẹ̀ tẹ́yìn èèyàn yẹn ará ilé ẹ lè máa bá wa dá sí i. Ẹ ṣé o tẹ́ǹtẹ́tí sí wa lórí ìkànnì yìí. Ẹ ṣé, Ọlọ́run á máa ràn yín lọ́wọ́ o fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ sọ wípé a interrupt program yẹn. Ẹ má bínú, ẹ má bínú, ẹ má bínú. A ń ṣe kó jẹ́ wípé ẹ lè máa gbádùn àwọn nǹkan tá à ń gbé wá lójoojúmọ́ ni. Ẹ má bínú sí wa, ṣé ti gbọ́? Ẹ ṣé o, ẹ ṣé o, ẹ ṣé o, mo ti bẹ̀bẹ̀ o, ẹ ṣé o, ẹ ṣé o. Ní gbogbo àwa tá a wà ní iléeṣẹ́ yìí iSin TV gbogbo la sọ wípé ẹ ṣé tẹ́ǹtẹ́tí sí wa ní gbogbo ìgbà. Ẹ ṣé o.